This is the Worksharp knife and tool sharpener. It's a fairly simple device. It's basically a belt sander, which is, it's got a electric motor and a belt. This is the coarse belt, which is something like 80 grit. To change belts, you press and turn this guide here, and the belt just slides off. And it's a little harder to get the belt threaded. And just give a little squeeze of the trigger to get the belt aligned. And the system comes with a couple of ankle guides. This is the aftermarket 40-degree outdoor guide. It came with this 50-degree outdoor guide and this 40-degree kitchen guide. But I like to sharpen my pocket knives at 40 degrees, and this thing gets kind of in the way when you're dealing with your thumb studs. So the angle guide goes on something like this. I'm going to start with this Rough Rider Marlin spike knife. Basically what you do is you use the intermittent switch. It's got a full on and an intermittent mode. You use the intermittent mode, place the knife in the guide, and basically pull through on either side. And you're going to want to stop the belt before you pull the tip of the knife off so you don't wreck the tip of the knife. And I'm going to start with the extremely coarse belt because I want to completely reprofile this thing because I have no idea what's going on with this edge. It's always been quite bad out of the box. So I position the knife in the guide. You don't want to put too much pressure on it. You just want to use the guide to guide the knife through. You don't want to use it to force the knife through. I think I want to pull through a little bit faster than that. Let's take a look. I'm going to do one more pass on each side. Then I'm going to step down the or step up the grit. Alright, so remove the guide. Pop on the 220 grit belt. You really only want to use this 80 grit belt if your knife is really, really dull. But because this knife was in need of some reprofiling, I decided to go for the 80 grit belt. Replace the angle guide. And I'm going to do this as my last pass. And as you can see, the edge is starting to take a nice polish. This blade is actually getting a little bit warm, so I probably want to lay off it for a little while, let it cool down so I don't ruin the heat treat. Who knows if there even is a good heat treat on this blade. So I'm going to go ahead and swap belts again. This is a 6,000 grit belt. And place the angle guide. And hopefully this is in focus. We've got a fairly nice polish on this edge. Catches the nail. Shaves enamel. And let's see how it does on this piece of paper. Still not great. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this edge, I should probably treat it a few more times with the 800 grit, because this is not great at all, but this knife is a piece of crap. So, the angle that came on this knife is probably significantly different than the 20 degrees that I was trying to sharpen it at. So I'm going to throw back on the 80 grit, and I will send it back for more. But I'll play with this one a little bit more off camera. Now, I have Spyderco Military, CTX XHP. I am going to start this one. I'm only going to do 1 or 2 passes on the rough grit, because right now this knife is still fairly sharp, but never have a knife that's too sharp. Also, if you look, this edge is kind of rough here. I'm just going to do a pass through without turning it on to make sure that the blade is hitting the belt. It looks like it is missing the belt when I get to the tip, so I need to be careful on that side and on this side that I'm moving the knife in to match the tapering of the blade. And go ahead and change out the belt. Probably give it a larger number of passes on here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and step up the belt to the fine belt. I think I lost a couple minutes there because my memory card ran out of space. Alright. Looks like we got a fairly shiny edge there. It feels like we got a tiny burr on the tip. I'm going to go ahead and remove the guide. Polish the tip a little bit. And that feels better. Let's see about the first piece of paper. Fabulous. And I'm just going to finish up on my strop with some green compound. Beautiful.